in regards to um, the man having memory of nothingness, it would make sense that he would need to have a philosophical makeup that teaches him, right, how much he is actually worth. Because without that, then that nothingness supersedes the fact that he was created from the Most High.
Mm-mm.
I can kind of get what you're stating, Terrence. It's just the simple fact is then that will lead what I'm getting from the rabbi, and this is only my opinion, right? Because we're just talking and we're reviewing it together. The
Mm-hmm.
rabbi said that the reason why that um, men and women are different is because women already have a self actualization of them being a whole being. They're already coming from a place of, I know where I come from, right? And if you go by the biblical term, we're supposed to have come from a man. This is from all the three branches of religion, the highest, the biggest ones, right? If women come from man, then we already have a knowing of ourself, right? The source.
Right.
If men come from dust, they come from nothing. They don't have a source. They really don't have a source. So they're being developed with nothing inside. So everything is a learning experience for them going forward in their life.
I believe
I,
that. I agree.
I agree. It's crazy because I was introducing MJ to this show where they talk about an element called dust, and it's how it's not really the same how we think about it. But let's press play and let's hear more what the rabbi got to say.
Everybody knows the story about the man who came to Hillel and said, "Teach me the whole Torah while I stand on one foot." And Hillel said to him, "What is hateful to you, do not do to others." Now let me tell you the rest of that story. Hillel was not giving him a vague, open-ended message that needs to be interpreted. What is hateful to you, don't do to others. You hate chocolate? Don't let anybody eat chocolate. That's not what it means. In Hebrew, when it says, what is hateful, it's not a question. It's a description. That thing, you know what I'm talking about, that thing that you hate, don't do it to others. What is that thing? The thing that everyone hates is to be reminded that you're nothing.
Wow.
This is interesting.
So
This reminds me when we say like
you ain't shit,
bandits
nigga.
are nothing. Yeah, and they
Yeah.
at the bottom of the pyramid and the bottom of the socioeconomic
Correct.
status, et cetera, et cetera. Kind of
But
the same
we
thing.
didn't tell them that first. They got that from an outside source. So then who we talking about? The white man, the oppressor? Because that's where we, that's where we kind of heard it first from.
This actually ties into like the quantum entanglement, where it's yes, we're here, but we're not here at the same time. Yeah, on a scientific realm. Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
Like we're apart, but then we're detached.
No, yeah,
I can kind of see that.
Mm-hmm. I kind of get what you're saying. I still don't agree with it though. I want to get to the part about women being a prize. That's what I'm here for.
It's a male thing. Women don't have that. Because in a woman's psyche, there is no zero. You're either a 1 or you're a 10. But there's no zero. So although nobody wants to be a one, but if you treat a woman like she's nothing, it simply doesn't compute. You treat a man like he's nothing, you can convince him.
You know what? I
That's why
gotta agree with him with that.
Mm.
Because if you really even think about the rating scale to women, men never call women a zero. Why? Because men can find some type of resource from even the worst women. Like they can find some form of benefit that they can get from this woman. So a woman is never rated 0 to 10. She's always rated from 1 to 0 or 1 to 10. But
Yeah.
however, women have no problem saying you are lame, you are 0, you are loser. They are literally, when they get scaled at a different level. We don't never say this dude is a 1. We will go as low as we possibly can. So that there is, I can see some validity to what he says. And that's why even when women get called a 1 or something like that, or if somebody was to ever say you're nothing, women like, what were you talking about? I'm nothing. You can't call me nothing. I know I'm something. It's like already inherently in us that we know we bring value. Whereas men don't know that unless somebody tells them.
Men are literally telling each other that they have no value, right? Fresh and Fit used to tell the candy store story, right? Men are born with no value. Women are born with value. Men have to build their value. Most men don't get their value until they are in their middle age and successful and in the gym, et cetera, et cetera. So it's other men telling these men that they don't have no value. That's just the facts.
Yeah, even more so, Daryl, because it starts earlier in the game where it's like if you didn't you have a value from another man if you scored that touchdown, if you pop that boy in the face when you had that fight in the playground, or if you got the girl, if you got a lot of girls, so the value was way when you're getting that way little. You're getting that affirmation from men and that value ship from a child, oh, look at him, he went over there and beat up the little boy who's been messing with him on the playground. Go get him, punch him, fight, fisticuffs, fight. Even with everything, all the way down to just treating your mama right. You get that, they get that early. They get that way before they become adults. So what the fuck happens when they become adults? Because that's instilled all the way down from, like I said, Pee-wee leagues, you got the touchdown, you're the winner. We are already establishing value in that little boy. So he's hearing it from somewhere, but it's not applicable. It's not bearing witness. It's not staying. If they grow up and then they still don't think that they're value, because who was that Chad Ochocinco thinks he is a whole bunch of value. Right? Because remember him?
True.
Like he thinks he's the shit on top of shit on top of shit. So what happened in his life that he grew up with value and these other men aren't getting that same lesson where something's happening? Because guys are getting it all the way from being little boys, in my opinion.
I think that a lot of those young men that grew up to be bandits today, they don't really test themselves. They don't push themselves. They form these crews and cliques. You see it online here. And they try to validate each other. I'm cool because I'm part of this team. We're all cool together. Individually, you a ham. Individually, you're nobody. Right? You couldn't, for a fact that you couldn't lead. For a fact that you couldn't even be second and third in command. Only thing you can do is be a sheep. Right? And I think a lot of men, that's where I see this online, and it's apparent in how they behave with women. It's apparent in how they behave with men as well when they're being challenged, because they already feel like they nothing. They already know they entire existence is nothingness. And I'm not just saying it to sound mean. I'm being dead ass. If I was to break it down, I'd talk about, I've met men who are insecure that's taller than me. I'm dead ass.
Insecure about being taller than you? What?
Because there's other things in their life. Like, I've met men that like super tall, and he might be socially awkward and dark skin, and women calling him blackie or whatever. But now women like that shit. Right?
I don't know. I always had this over confidence about myself. I always tested myself. I like never mind. Let's go back to the video so we can like.
I got a thought here though. Got a thought here.
Yeah. Of course, Terrence. Of course.
Thinking, is it well? But thinking along the lines of starting from 0 and then using the scale up to 10, right? So that's a broader range. That's a broader spectrum. And if there's a broader spectrum, then what I was used to hear is women shouldn't submit to the man, but submit to the Most High that's within him. And I'm just going off what I've heard, right? So I'm definitely open to hearing pushback, right? Because I fumble around with all different types of thoughts all day, every day. So if he's coming from nothingness, right, that means there's potential attributes that could lead to absolute destruction, to where there's nothing. But then at the same in the same likeness, take that know-how and spin it into absolute life, because he comes from nothing into life. So there's that gap that's unknown for some and known for others, which in the very beginning of his within the first 3 minutes, from nothingness to something, and it's stored in memory. So everything in between would also need to be there in memory as well.
That is true, but how many men are focusing on finding that?
None.
Back to 0.
How many men are actually trying to fill in the gaps of that period of time when you go from nothing into something, or you go from nothing into failure? Because when men speak about their failure, or when they speak about their success, they only talk about the end result. They can never put into words the steps and the process that they actually got there to get to, whether they fail or whether they succeed. Women, however, can tell you the whole blueprint of how they got from wherever they went. They could tell you in very intricate details. We can never get that from men. It seems like it's like a blind spot or a blind period for men, because all they see is the goal, and all they see is they fell.
It's definitely interesting. Yeah, it's now let's keep going. Let's start and get into it.
Okay. Look at us having a mature conversation.
If you treat a woman like she's nothing, she's puzzled. Like, what in the world's going on? You're treating me like I'm nothing? That doesn't compute. Yeah. I'm not nothing.
Bandit.
With a man, I always suspected I might be nothing, and now you're confirming it, and what am I going to do? If you're nothing, you're nothing. But it's a horrible feeling that you'll never understand.
Before I continue with my monologue, where I do all the talking, I want to invite you to a VIP session, a Zoom session, in which we get together to actually have a conversation and discuss all things Jewish, all things holy, all things healthy.
So tempting.
Who is this rabbi? I may be able to get
Rabbi Manish Freeman.
Yeah, he's a famous rabbi on YouTube. He got almost near 500,000 subscribers.
He definitely eating.
And he's he's been a marriage coach or relationship coach for the Hasidic community probably for over 40 plus years.
Do we know his name by chance?
Rabbi Manish Friedman. M-I-N-I-S, Freed, like fried chicken. Friedman.
Thank you.
No problem.
So click on the link below and join us, where we can have a two-way conversation.
Being a 0 is total annihilation. It's not an insult. I mean, it's much more than an insult. It's total annihilation. When you put down a man, you're destroying him. That's why men are so sensitive to criticism.
Priscilla wins again.
Yes, she does.
See,
Well,
again,
definitely he's telling truth. He's telling truth that men do really feel like women take their life away or take their life force away when they don't validate them. You know, this is why we have instance where women are losing their lives for rejecting men or cursing out men or no longer wanting men be in a relationship with them. Like we wouldn't have a lot of crimes of passion or just these random attacks that have been occurring if somewhat what he say is not true, that these men really tend to be broken when women state certain things about them that they don't like.
and I find this so intriguing, and I think a lot of it has to do with the programming, like the upbringing of this male child, right? Has he been raised to develop this mindset of less than rather than a mindset of abundance? I came from nothing and I am something. No mere human in this sense can make me feel low enough knowing that the Most High flows through me. And anything, I can take anything from nothing and bring it into something because I'm made in his image. His breath flows through me.
Wouldn't
I
those
think
be
that
in layman terms to get it out the mud people, the Michael Jordans, the ones who we know supposedly came from, like, you know, I'm not trying to be cliches, but wasn't that like DMX's whole thing? Like there really wasn't nothing. Those people were really rejected. We're not saying that those people don't exist, but wouldn't that be an example of those folks that we do know, where they, you know, we know that they had downtrodden lives. They were probably should have felt this way, and then they still managed to maintain and become leaders and pioneers in comparison to the guy who just, you know, the everyday guy who just finds everyday adulting hard and won't, you know, wants to say this is too much and bail out and can't get through the mud. Because I would think who you're describing is those people who we know in our world who have literally came from nothing and nothing inside of them, literally nothing around them, and still managed to, you know, be successful or be emotionally successful, healthy, have healthy, you know, perspective, healthy mental states. You know what I mean? We know of those people. We see what happened with them.
I think that those people are special. I think that those people are a part of the 1%. Or the 5% thinkers, or the 5%, you know, elite people, and majority of the world, the collective, is like on the below, right? Or followers. I don't really necessarily think that we can always pin it to the indoctrination of a male child into society of how he's upbringing, because like even with my son, you know, I always encourage my son. You know, I always instill in my son that he is very valuable to me, and you're very valuable to your family and your father. We all love and treasure you. But that doesn't stop him for when he goes out in the street and other people tell him different.
Right.
So when he comes back and tells me that he feels that he doesn't deserve to have friends or nobody like him or whatever not, that's coming from within, because it's definitely not something that I'm cultivating in my house. If anything, I'm cultivating for him to have the utmost confidence. If anything, he should be a cocky little motherfucker. But he's not.
I feel the same way. It's like, that's why I said I think a lot of men don't accept challenges, bro. Like we don't all, like, it's not always about physical, right? Sometimes it's about the mental. When I was young, I was really good at basketball. To this day, I try to tell people I'm far better than they like to give me credit for. I even tell Uncle Man when he was like, "Bro, I'll bust your ass." I was like, "Uncle Man, I haven't played basketball in about a year, but I almost guarantee you cannot fuck with me in basketball." literally. Like I know very little about you, Terrence, and I feel like I would say the same thing about you as well.
Oh
Right?
yeah, I don't play ball, bro.
See, yeah, like
We could spar in the octagon though. We had some fun there.
the octagon is different because I'm not a boxer. Like, but even then, I would just accept it, right? But for me, it was like always a challenge because when you're not over 6 feet and you're trying to be a basketball phenom in high school, you really got to just outsmart people. You got to have a good physique. You got to really play mentally. I used to be coached by a really good coach, and he would say, like, basketball, like any other sport, whether it was chess, et cetera, is played mentally, right? And if you mentally destroy your opponent, you're gonna win every other way.
Mhm.
And I was very successful as far as in the inner cities of Detroit. Is actually how I got popular in different places because I was just really good at basketball, and through that, I met cool other guys who was cool at basketball, and girls girls liked us, of course. So it was an easy way for me to make to gain confidence, to gain notoriety and stuff like that. And I was a young, handsome man too. But I think a lot of other young men, bro, I saw them shy down from those different opportunities to take the moment and seize it, right? And I think that's a confidence thing, like what MJ was saying. Like maybe some of these dudes' mom was and they pops was giving them a lot of like positive feedback, but then there was people who was being bullied, bro. There was people who even we was telling them, like, we used to pick people like little book bags up, take their shit, take their books and smack them on the back of the head. Like I do understand what the rabbi is saying. It's easy to make somebody feel like he's nothing. You know what I mean? Whereas women, I feel like that's never a situation. But
See,
never
and
saying that.
yeah, and that's I know for a fact that's not the case, and that's
All right,
interacting with little boys and little girls, having to boost their confidence, right? These little kids are ruthless out here. They're mean, right? And they'll
Right.
go ahead and tell one
Right.
another, and then all of a sudden you got a gang of kids ganging up on one kid, and they want to go outside and sit down, but they can't go have fun. They're bored. They're feeling down on themselves. Oh, I don't want to be here. Start cutting on themselves to find a way to release the pain. Like, this stuff is
Kids
real.
are
And
evil.
and it's boys and girls doing this, right? So I guess I say that to say I don't want to put it out there that just because it's a little girl, right, building that confidence isn't an absolute necessity so much as it is for a little boy, right? And that, yeah.
I
You know
think
what?
it's
Go ahead,
important for
MJ.
both. No, I was just gonna say I just think it's very important for both because there is a different type of we see a different type of reaction when a boy don't have confidence and when a girl don't have confidence,
Mhm.
right? Because when a girl don't have confidence, she's more acceptable, she's more impressionable to make bad or poor decisions for herself, right? But when a boy is don't have that type of confidence, he becomes self-destructive. He's
Mm.
very self-destructive. He will destroy
Oh,
everything around him. And I think that's why when it comes down to boys and girls, they both need that type of confidence to build that type of self-confidence, that self-actualization of themselves. But we have to maneuver in a different way. We can't use the same playbook for boys that we would do for girls. And that's why when we look at these large religions, especially when it comes down to the Hasidic community and the Islamic community, there's a reason why they teach boys and men separate from girls and women, because they understand that both gender needs special tweaking, something that is unique to their gender to cultivate them to be healthy individuals, mentally, emotionally, and physically. And if you want to actually really benefit the community, you have to take the time to do that. Such what we see in our country, and I think we were speaking about this on Jen's panel the other day. What we see in this country is we are mixing too much, and people are getting left behind. It doesn't matter if it's a boy or a girl. People are getting left behind because one moment we're focusing on this that is probably more pertinent to girls. The next moment we're focused on this that is more pertinent to boys. And even every single time we're switching between different situations that we're trying to fix, someone is being left out of the equation. That part is not being answered. And the whole point is we're all a part of the solution. We have to fix it in totality. We can't just only fix one at a time, because if you let the other one fall, there is no balance.
And that's why I think it's a little dangerous to play the gender game, right? Because if we're only addressing it by gender, then we're leaving out the psychological makeup of that individual person who's completely, like, for example, we have Genesis, we have MJ, Terrence, Daryl, and everybody in the chat, right? And each of us don't have the same motivation points, right, to grow, develop, or feel like we're being torn down, no matter if it's a male or female, right? So if I'm coming in as a coach or a teacher, right, then it's my job to learn each individual that I'm working with uniquely to who they are, not isolating them within compartmentalizing them within a gender and then operating solely and only within that bucket. And I think that's dangerous because it compartmentalizes the psyche, right? And I think that could lead to, and now I'm just free-forming thought, not going off of experience anymore. I think that could lead to teaching them to externalize the world and become a sheep amongst sheep, because we've identified, all of us have to go, right, to accomplish what I as an individual need to accomplish. Oh, this whole group over there is going that way. I should go over that way because they look like me, rather than I'm my own person. Hopefully I know what I need to do, right? Or go to somebody who can see that within me and motivate and pick out whatever it is that needs to be picked out to motivate me in that direction.
I respect that. Genesis, what's your thoughts? Genesis look high as hell.
Not yet. But I was just thinking, like, maybe my thoughts are trivial, but I think to a certain degree there may be some truth to that, because personally, what I've experienced, and going from my own experience, I've literally, MJ and some of the ladies may be able to validate that we have not. There's days that you can't walk through your day without someone acknowledging you or reinforcing or re-encouraging you, either whether it's because you're beautiful or, there's something about, whereas a guy, these men, you guys can go through a whole week without someone even telling you good job. And you may be you may be a good father. You may have just, done everything you needed to do. You had her back this week, honey, and you picked up the trash, you took it out, you did your job. No one's told you great job. No one's reinforced that in you. And I've also was thinking about, even going back to the kids, think about how when a little girl comes to her parents, comes to you with like when your daughter comes to you with her feeling insecure, Daddy, I can't paint this, so I can't put my sock on. We also respond to them differently. So it might be what you're saying, like the conditioning is different, like what you're saying here. It might just be that we're taught, conditioned to say, oh, you're a little boy, go ahead and, you know, knock that off, brush it off, put your socks on, you could do it. Whereas he might have needed that same attention. That might have been the break of him actually being able to receive attention later on down in his life. You know what I mean? Like he might not be so foreign to not being told or being reinforced. And then the sad thing about it is just think that some men versus women have probably went through their lives, not to take it back to gender, but you probably have went through your life without ever being told good job on a much more regular basis, or you look beautiful, or you're doing great, or you're handsome, or whatever. Those reinforcements, those things that tell you that the outside world agrees with what's on the inside. Because when those, and where as opposed to where a young girl, you know, a cute little girl in the store, she's so cute, as to a little boy, you don't say anything. So sometimes I'm thinking that even then, and when they were such small children, we didn't reinforce the positive to be able, so that they can grow up and be this person, to have full confidence. So they never got it. We didn't give it to them. They never got it by default of thinking that girls are cuter and giving them more coddling, and as to, you know, to whereas we treat boys with a little more toughness to make them tough. You know, we treat them differently even as infants. We treat them differently even socially. The world responds to them differently. You have your little girl, oh, look at you, Daryl, with your cute little daughter. You could be with your son and they might not say anything. So there's no reinforcement there. So all that reinforcement that you would get to tell you that would match up with what your mom is saying, to match up with what your dad is saying. You're not getting that out in the world. And then God forbid, when your friends come along, the influence that really matters, that says, oh man, you ain't no good basketball player. You ain't no Michael Jordan, Daryl. You're only 5'7". And if that would have stuck in him because he already didn't have some prior reinforcement, that's probably where that turn that happens. That's where, and then I'm thinking that for a little girl or for a woman, she doesn't, if what he's saying is valid, then she doesn't have far to go when you push her down, when she's being pushed down, because she already comes into a world with value, right? She's been told since she was 3 that she's a beautiful little girl, that she has such a cute little bubbly personality. All these reinforcements that will support when she's an adult. So when that pushing down happens, the woman goes at a different level, as opposed to where the push down happens for the male, since he was never reinforced as a child. He was never reinforced growing up. Now he is back to zero. He stayed at zero. He never left zero. His mom, you know, did what they could do. Like MJ, you're saying you do what you can do, but when those friends come in, that peer pressure comes in, and those reactions to the world come in, which seems to be way bigger and louder than your little voice, he was already at zero. So it's almost counterproductive to, you know, it's something that happens from the beginning, from the time that they were brought into this world to where you are now. You know, because like I said, for me, I've seen it. I've met guys who said, man, you're the first person this week that told me good job. And to see how much that brightened their day, when I'm like, I've been told good job 4 or 5 times a day, you know. So the difference in hearing that is that reinforcement. It probably never happens for some men. It probably never. They're stuck at zero. They're at zero. The world's beating them up. They women don't think the best of them. Their mama never really told them they was a good job. You know, like we got a Ricky and what's his name? Well, Boys in the Hood situation, where the one son is the great son and gets told he's great, and the other one doesn't. Like, you just a problem.
Ricky! Damn!
And you're petty for that. Thank you, though. But you see what I'm saying? That's just my opinion. As like, maybe he never left. I know you petty, Daryl. Maybe he never left zero, in my opinion. Maybe those guys that end up taking that, you know, going there, they probably they never lived a life of having any type of reinforcement or confidence or reassurance.
That's a really good way of looking at that, because I've always blamed Doughboy ending on Doughboy and Ricky ending on Ricky. Like, Doughboy didn't want to be like Ricky. I don't know. No matter how much positive, I mean, neither one of them have really positive reinforcement. I mean, Ricky's mom treated him better because he was a better son, being honest. He was a better child. He was a well-behaved young man at the time. He was a fucking scholar. He was on the football team. He was working hard. He was an athlete. He was disciplined, even all of that. And he was a father. I mean, Ricky was working extremely hard to change his bandit behavior ways and rise from the elements of South Central Los Angeles, right? Doughboy, on the other hand, accepted his
Yeah, that's what I
surroundings.
was about to say. He embraced
His
it.
zeroness. Yeah, he embraces zeroness. He was like, I'm gonna be a zero. I'm gonna stay down at the bottom. I'm never coming out the top. Even no matter what you said, even when he at what point in the movie he did the right thing, even when he did the right thing, there was
It was
still no
the-
positive reinforcement.
No.
Right? So therefore I'm gonna be at zero, then fuck it. I'm gonna stay down here and enjoy my zero banditry.
The only person that had true positive reinforcement in the entire movie was Trey and with his father.
Yeah.
Right. Trey was I mean, he tried to influence, Ricky on that one scene when they talk about gentrification, but the whole point is this: is like they chose their paths, right? The young men that end up clamping. Sorry, I shouldn't say that. The ones that shot Ricky, they were just like Doughboy. Same thought process. I would believe no matter however they grew up, that's who they wanted to be. They wanted to be shooters. That's what validated them in their hood, was having that name in South Central LA of being somebody that you can't fuck with. Right? Innocent or not. It don't matter who the fuck you are. Right? So I think people just choose to be who they want to be. Sometimes you can't talk a good person into being a bad person, and you certainly won't be able to talk a demon into being an angel. It's just that person's gonna be who they are.
So if a man feels like he's nothing, and no one's not really reinforcing that you're nothing, but you just decide you're gonna say nothing.
But see, I would like see, why would he be nothing? Like I said, I always challenge myself because of me. You know what I mean? I would have to study that person to understand why they feel like they're nothing. But maybe because I'm, like I said, I have a lot of confidence.
Well, then we go by on the basis what Rabbi said. He gave his explanation as to why men or certain men will feel like they're nothing. The men who don't feel like that are the anomaly. They're a cut above the rest. They coming in with a sense of purpose, and it's easy for them to navigate and to follow whatever plans that they want for themselves going forward. But this is not the collective of men. The collective of men are actually feeling subconsciously. They're feeling the emptiness and the nothingness inside of them, and they're trying to figure out where their place is in the world. And that's the reason why I feel that they're always seeking validation, whether if it's from resources, whether it's from women, whether if it's respect amongst their peers. They're always seeking someone to basically speak for them.
I actually agree.
Mm-hmm.
Entirely agree. Let's go back to the Rabbi.
Because every criticism reminds them of the ultimate criticism. So you say to a guy, you're not so tall. So, okay, here goes. I know where this is leading. You start with not so tall, not so smart, not so important, not so necessary. You mean I'm nothing. I hate that. So no, I just said you weren't tall. So that's why men can't tolerate any criticism. This suspicion that men live with haunts them.
You said men can't tolerate any criticism?
Right, because of the suspicion that they have. So just the fact that you're already suspect of what I'm going to say next, even if I say, Daryl, you got glasses on, huh? What are you trying to say? I'm blind now? Next thing you'll say, am I a nerd? Nerds don't get love. Now you're trying to say I'm a dumb, that rabbit hole that you go down, that suspicious rabbit hole you go down, based on your own, what he's saying, that's your own insecurity that nobody said. I just said you had on glasses.
No bullshit. That's all you said.
See, I don't.
That's
maybe
like
I'm
me saying
just
parents
biased.
light skin. You like, well, I'm light skin. And you go down the light skin rabbit hole.
I'm light
Once
skinned.
you
Thank
light
you.
skin, you think I'm looking good. You're like, right, but I'm, the typical light skin rabbit hole. What you got on the hat? What you wearing a hat all the time for? Terrence? Okay, well, I wear a hat, but what you trying to say? What you trying to say? I'm bald. What you trying to say? I look ugly. What you trying to say? I'm light skinned. What you trying to say? That's usually what happens.
But and here's the thing with that, right? Because everything that was just mentioned had to do with genetics, right? Things that can't be changed unless there's some type of surgery. In which case we've developed that mindset. I'm gonna go, all right, so I'm gonna take a curve here and I'm gonna wrap it back around. Darwin's theory of evolution, right? Where it's survival of the fittest. You got to be the tallest, the strongest, and the strongest carry on. Well, for the human race, that's not entirely true. As a matter of fact, humans debunked Darwin's theory because there's no evidence whatsoever that the anatomic modern human has ever evolved. Like zero. So if the anatomic modern human has never evolved, that means from the time of creation to today's date, we've not went extinct, but we still have people that are super short and we still have people that are super tall. So it's not necessarily survival of the fittest, or else we'd be a lot bigger, stronger, right? And we can see how that genetic component can take place within 400 years, right? From slavery. You look at the Africans in Africa and they're slimmer built, long runners, but then you look at the African Americans here, you're looking at some giants, right? Tall, swole, because they were bred for that. So if there was evolution that took place, then over time, majority of humans would be built like stack houses. But there's
Well,
no frame of evolution. So it's really in the mindset, which breaks it down to the philosophy that's been associated amongst the collective. You see what I'm saying? So if
I
I'm
do see
able to
what you're
go
saying.
cyclic, yeah, if I'm able to go cyclic and become depressed based on what somebody says about my physical appearance, then it's a mental thing and not necessarily a gender thing. Maybe
That could be a
throwing.
possibility. That could be a possibility. The only reason why I say that because we did see somewhat of that evolution. Like, and I do agree the Darwin theory has been debunked because we have so many different sizes, shapes, blood types, everything when it comes down to the physical aspect of human beings. And even in Africa, there's a tribe that they're called the Neolithic tribe. They're the ones who usually do um the long distance running. This tribe between I think it's Sudan and I forgot what other country. Everybody there is 7 feet tall. They're all giants. They're super dark. Like they're dark to the point where they're like the color black and their eyes are red and they're so gorgeous, very slim built. And people are actually believing that this particular tribe in Africa, they were the original humans. They are the oldest human of when it comes down to Homo sapiens. Like this is what we're deriving from. We were all 7 feet tall. We was all slim. We all had very, very dark melanated skin. We had reddish eyes, and our hair color, our hair texture was like a reddish brown because that's their hair texture in that area, in that geographic area location. And look at how we are completely different now as you look as African Americans, because African Americans in the US, we're not 100% African. Let's just put it like that. We're really not. We're literally a mixed people due to the history that we don't have to really even go down to. So yes, I don't necessarily believe that the survival of the fittest, that what Darwin theory was talking about, we're not there in this day and age due to the simple fact of all our other evolutions that have happened at the same time. Our industrial evolution are able to be farming and producing products and foods at record-breaking time. So we have beat that theory that if we wasn't fit and capable, like physically, to withstand whatever demographic that we're in or whatever geographic location that we're in, that we would actually fail. Now it's more with us, our survival of the fittest is about like, I think it's more on the sociological effect or social effect. You know what I'm saying? Like when it comes down to hoarding resources or garnishing resources, and this is the way how we're competing now. It's not necessarily physically competing. So that's why when I hear men always talking about that protecting the protecting this, that protecting that, most of the protection that is being done today is being done by weaponry. It's not being done as you're not really going around scalping people. You're not really going around literally throwing axes and butchering them and chasing them across the thing. We're not doing that. So it's like a whole different feel of survival of the fittest. And I think that our survival of the fittest, especially for us in this generation, is within the mind. People are losing within the mind, and they're also losing within the spirit.
Mm-hmm. So then, with that being said, then I gotta think on that.
What's going on? That was
Yeah,
actually
you're reviewing the rabbi.
That was actually very interesting. That I'm also reading Gently's comments at the same
I was
time.
getting ready.
And she actually has a good.
Yeah, you check out what she's saying. Yeah,
she does. So, is this why women can't speak up pretty much about their experiences because men can't tolerate any criticism? And then, and then she went to say, so is this why women
speak about their experiences? Men get upset because they can't tolerate any criticism about male species as it is, but they also identify with.
Yeah, so she was repeating the same thing twice. That's how I was like, oh yeah, that's just the same thing.
And so this is why they don't like hearing about our experiences with other men, because they identify with other men solely because he's a man.
And that's 100% correct. That's why it goes back to me always saying for the longest about these men who say to women, don't date or don't mate with this particular type of men. But when it comes down to this man disassociating himself with those men that were not supposed to date and mate, they actually hold them coverage. They give them coverage and they hold them under the umbrella of man. They cannot, because at those in a way they understand that he is a man. They understand his logic and his mindset as to why he might have done fucked up shit or he was an a-hole, whatever not. And they also do that because if they ever get to that state, they want that same coverage for them as well.
Yeah, that's why they want a constant reassurance by other men. Even though your mother was the one that reassured that you could be the best man you could be, or she uplifted you in all your achievements. That's why you could have a girlfriend or a wife who also says, "Oh, you look good and you smell good, and I'm glad you brushed your hair. I like that haircut," but still, if another guy says, "Oh, you looking spiffy today," they take praises more than the female giving them praises.
I don't know if that's I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah,
I don't know
about
that.
I think it's just a different way how they handle it, right? Because the way how men internalizes praises from men and women is completely different. So like when a woman praises a man or make a man feel good, he smiles, he softens, he gets doughy eye, he wants to, and I guess and men have said this, he wants to do more for her because she's fueling his ego at that moment, making him feel good. Now he wants to give, right? But the way how men feel when other men applaud them is completely different.
Right.
It's a power in that. You know what I'm saying? You don't feel powerful when a woman compliments you.
Especially when
you feel soft.
More superior than that woman. So
you know what I'm saying? You feel
right, ladies, when she said the men see something and feel differently when they're around other men, and then they don't feel anything when they're with us.
That's what I mean.
I was about to say that. Yep, you're right.
That's
so
that's exactly what I was going down to. That's what I was explaining. So no matter what women say to you guys,
don't hear it.
From birth on to adulthood, you really don't even hear it.
No,
you're like, oh, And I'm like, you like, oh, mom. It goes to the fact of, oh, mom, you always say that.
Yeah, those of you that are parents, you guys can testify that when you have told your child to do something or not to do something, but they don't hear you, but their peers can say it, which is validation for them.
And
It
they
now
hear
it
it
now makes
loud and
sense,
clear.
loud and
It
clear, and
makes
it makes
sense at
sense.
all.
Yes.
I've
I'm like,
seen it
so
happen in
MJ,
front of me.
so MJ, like, say for instance, even though you are the sole caretaker of your son, if the dad was around, or even Daryl, if he was, more substantiating your son's life, you can sit up and tell your son, "Hey, go pick up trash," and you got to tell him numerous amount of times, correct? But when Daryl or his dad sit up and say, "Hey, boy, go get that trash," they get up and move.
Oh, absolutely. But that, because that's that man to man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, there's gonna be a point in a boy's life, or a man child's life, when he's gonna look at his mom. His mom is gonna be the authoritative, but then he's gonna look at his mom and be like, I'm superior to her by my brute force.
Right.
And with that, it will lead him to be like, he can challenge her authority at that time, because when he comes into the realization of his brute force is much stronger than his mom's bite. But
Right.
see, when you're actually dealing with men, and men, there's men on the panel, they can tell me if I'm wrong or not. It's a different type of feeling when you're coming across someone who has equally brute force and equal mouth like yourself. There's a different level and different feeling with that.
It makes no difference, and I think again, it all boils down to the psychology, right? Because if a man is standing amongst men and feels more powerful from those compliments, that means he feels less than. You know what I mean? It takes the compliments for him to feel worthy of. But that speaks to a requirement of validation from somebody else.
Yeah, I'm not feeling that.
No, I'm like, because it's a difference if a woman is telling you you look good, and you pretty much kind of brush that off, but it makes you feel powerful when a man tells you you look good. Then you should want the woman. You should feel a type of way when the woman. You should feel better or powerful when your woman says it to you, not when a male says it to you.
Yeah, but I think
They don't see
what I'm
power
saying.
in
That
what we're saying, is what they're saying, that, like she said, after a certain point, their brains hear us, their voice, they hear our voice, they hear us talking, but whatever's happening in their minds because of whatever has happened to them already, they turn themselves out. They either voluntarily or involuntarily tune out of it, and after a while, we just become rhetoric. So it's something else that's happening. They hear us. It just means more for whatever reason that it's coming up, that it means more. If Princella's right, then what they're seeing, they're feeling is the affirmation and connection in their body. Their brain is synapsing. Their body's having their neurons are charging when their homeboy says, that's a good job, you made that shot. But your mama on the sideline is like, go baby, don't mean nothing.
Don't mean
That don't
nothing.
mean nothing. But your
Yeah, you
homeboy
like
like,
it.
yeah, nigga, you made that, nigga, you dog, you did that. That's what mattered to them. That's what resonated in their body, literally. Their whole science, their whole biology is just doing something different when that boy's voice, when that homeboy
Their
validated them.
reassurance is there. Yeah,
So that's nothing we can do about. That's beyond the conversation, because their biology, back to Prince Ella, your
I
science,
agree.
your biology is doing something different, whether they know it or can control it. They wanted their homeboys. Man, you know how many times, Nene, that I have told my ex, that's a sideshow, but tell my ex-boyfriend something. I talk, for example, I don't like the baby mama. You don't need to talk to baby mama. Take care of your kids, and then you deal with me. I'm your woman now. But you want to spend time with baby mama. The woman can feel a certain way about it. I have told that man for a whole month, like, come on, man, you tripping. You don't need to talk to her like that. You don't need to talk to her like that. But when I tell you, his boy told him, and he called me back 30 minutes later. Had a 30-minute conversation with his boy, and his boy said, man, fuck you, man. You tripping. Why you doing that? You know, that's your woman, man. That's your baby mama. Fuck her. You done with her. You got this woman now. The same thing I said for months.
And he heard it.
He called me back. He literally called me at work. I'm so sorry, baby. I apologize. I didn't know it was hurting you this bad. How the fuck you didn't know when I said it to you for months with the same passion I'm feeling right now?
That's what I'm
But
saying.
your
When
boy
when a
said
man
it.
hear that girl,
So
hear that
if
woman
something
talk,
happening, they're synapsing, they're charging, they're getting something physically. Their bodies are something's happening in their body, in their minds, and in their whole makeup. That they don't that there's something's happening that has nothing to do with us because they
yeah,
don't
like
get
that,
they don't get the
right?
same charge from us. They plug
But I think
they
uh,
plug their charger over here and it don't charge. They plug their charger in over there and they get full charge in 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
I think that speaks to a lot, right? And I don't know that it's necessarily. I don't know that it's biological more so than it is a psychological element, right?
Well, that's part of
Because
biology.
if he
It's
has
like
if he
your
has
psyche
the
is biology.
ability, I didn't hear you, Nene. Sorry.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I was just the side note. You forget your psyche, your brain is part of your biology, and the biology that you lack is the amygdala. Amygdala.
Mm-hmm.
That's the emotion thing that y'all don't
Mhm.
have, and it doesn't fire the way it's supposed to. That's why I always go back to most of the time y'all can identify your feelings based off of pictures. Oh, one for being, hey, I'm not feeling too good, to 10 being, oh, I'm as happy as I can be. That I think that lack of emotion or that psyche right there is part of you guys' biology.
So okay, and then that would speak to self-awareness, right? If somebody's as self-aware as they can be, which is heightened, then they'll be able to sense those emotions in somebody else,
Mm-mm.
right?
No,
And
No.
Not all the time, no.
No, because we got the empathy factor, Terrence. We're missing the whole
yeah,
empathy, not sympathy. Not that you felt
empathy.
you felt bad for me because I stubbed my toe. We're
But
talking
feel
about
what you
you
feel.
feel what I felt. But if
Yeah.
you already lack that, what she said, what's it called, the amygdala, you're already lacking something. But again, going back, where my sign at? Prince Ella wins the damn again. Going back to the biology, going back to the science of it. Your body is doing something with or without your permission.
right.
If you are self-aware, then you're in tune with what your body's finna do. That means you know I'm about to get 38 hot, and I'm going to be aware of making sure that I don't do that, or I don't get 38 hot. The nigga next to you that go 38 hot, that I can't control myself, I just saw red. He's not aware of that
That's
happening in his body,
Exactly.
whether he
right.
wants it or not. So when
Right.
he needs your validation, he's shooting that shot. He ain't the guy that's shooting the shot. Like Daryl, that was sitting on the sideline, like, watch these girls that don't look, no fat, what do you say, all air fade, no look at the woman winking at her and the shot go in. He's self-aware of that part that was happening in his body. But the man who looking at the niggas, like, watch this, homie, damn, he ain't looking at us. He did that for y'all. He did that for y'all. He did the Aaron Michael Jordan for y'all. He didn't look at the ladies. Because he's not even aware of that. He's doing that for you guys, but he wants that whatever that stimulus is happening. When you be like, "Yeah, dog, you did that," he's looking for that from you.
Yeah.
Because the guy that's self-aware, that's not looking for that from you, that has aware of that, he is looking for that from everywhere else. So he's the one that's doing the shot and looking at the ladies like, "Yeah, these bitches about to be with me tonight." Because, damn, shot three shot, all nothing but air. There's two different things happen here. So if that's happening, what Prince Ella said, if it's a biological thing, if it's a scientific thing, if it's chemicals
It
in your
is.
body, if it's osmosis happening in your body, then it's your battle is to combat it on the outside. Now that you are aware, you know what's happening. Because that's your son or your nephew that you can start with. Because apparently y'all are already too far gone. You already are too far gone into your emotions. You already who you are. If you're an angry man, you're an angry man because no one never helped you walk through your feelings.
That's
If you're, if you're a simp, you're a simp because no one helped you walk through your feelings. Help you during that time of need.
Yes, that's
So I
why
can
y'all
never.
have a high. That's
I
why
agree.
y'all have that's why y'all have a high competitiveness built within y'all. That's y'all.
And that's great. That's great because we need y'all. We need a nigga to get to the end line and help us get free. If it came down to some what's it called, the living dead or whatever, some shit happened. We need some people that's gonna react and not think. And then we still need some thinkers. So we need both of y'all. We need the ones who are not connected to themselves and don't even realize all this is happening in their body. Don't even know the amygdala ain't acting right. Don't even know what's going on. They just know that that's that nigga you can call to punch a nigga in the face because he get 38 hot. Because he's not even aware of that. He's not even aware of all this stuff that's happening. He doesn't even know he's a zero. He like being a zero, like Daryl said earlier. He's that nigga that'll shoot another nigga because he already a zero. He ain't even trying to feel better about himself. He don't even want to be aware of it.
I get it. So it was identified with thinking. So the thought of the emotion rather than actually feeling the emotion is what you're saying.
Because some of those who are synapsing are disconnecting the feeling. They don't feel nothing.
Yeah.
So
they feel it when they look at y'all, not us.
So let's process on that piece, right? If somebody knows what being sad feels like, it might not be felt the same exact way that it is in another individual, especially a woman, because we're completely two different genders, right? So I can never experience the sadness that a woman feels, but I felt sad before. I could never experience the same joy that a woman has felt, but I felt the joy before, right? Now, if the ability is there to see that emotion in somebody else or hear that emotion in somebody else and feel that feeling as well, that's empathy, right? It's an act of being at that point. So
you identify with the
like when your child was born. I don't have empathy for you fathers being in the room when being holding their children for the first time, nor do I have empathy for a woman giving birth because I've never done neither, right? But you and Daryl can identify the day and moment in time, the first time you held your brand new baby. Therefore, you can empathize with each other. However, you cannot empathize with MJ on pushing out a child through her hoo-hoo. You can sympathize the pain because you've been kicked in the nuts.
That's true, right?
But you cannot empathize because you have not pushed the child out of your hoo-hoo.
Right.
Now that's a much deeper conversation.
You can empathize with Daryl on the first day that baby looked into your face, and that was the first time that person said you are their daddy.
Oh yeah. So
therefore, when that guy
generalized,
when that guy looks at you and y'all both be like, yeah, like when you see a girl, you see a woman, he see the woman, and he see she with you, he look at you, you look at him, and y'all be like, yeah. That's empathy, because both y'all know how it feels to have a bitch on your arm. Both y'all know how it feels to have a pretty girl at some point. Both y'all know how that y'all was about to end a happy ending tonight, and y'all both know what's about to happen with a girl on your arm. That's
period.
That's why y'all get the shots. Y'all shots firing, and when you look at each other, that's why two niggas can look at each other at the same time about to steal a wallet. Both y'all niggas are thinking, I'm finna steal that wallet. That nigga ain't paying attention. Who gonna get to it first? It's empathy. It's empathy. Y'all literally are connected. Like, got you. Got you.
And there goes that emotional intelligence. The emotional intelligence has everything to do with self-awareness.
Now, whether or not you apply that to the opposite person or whether or not you can apply it to yourself to where you dig yourself up out the hole was what he's talking about. You being a zero, you not having you have no outside concern for yourself.
I'm glad you're bringing this back up because I was definitely going to go there.
But that's a disconnect because you don't feel bad for nobody else. So you don't even see the other niggas around you that's zeros. You all in your own zero world because you can't connect. You can't connect.
What the rabbi was saying. Seemed like you
bring it back, Sprinkle.
Kind of got like something you want to say about what Jen said. She kind
He's my comeback partner. That's my comeback partner. Come on.
Yeah. So okay. So I'm sorry. Did you say you was about to play it right now, or
no? I said go. Yeah, bring it back to that. Go ahead. You got it.
Okay. So bringing it right back around to the empathy piece, right? Okay. And the male child being fragile in that sense because he is coming from 0 to 10, and there's a generalized idea that there's no empathizing with the opposite sex. Does that bring in reason to bring cause to males being risen? I think that would be the word. Raised in a woman's house. Reason why empathy or self-awareness comes into light, because it's smothered because she's unable to empathize with him. That's under
No,
the generalized idea.
no, because we just said MJ is providing that empathy gap. He is just not connecting with it in the world. Which that empathy gap would if you're gonna go back to the good old family structure, what the Hasidic Jews are saying, when that empathy gap starts to happen, that's why the boys go hang with the fathers, because only the father who has been through that empathy gap can explain the boy and walk him through it.
Yep.
But MJ has gone as far as she can go if he still walks out away after he gets all this mental and emotional nourishment, all this feeding, so he doesn't feel at 0. She pumps him up to 1. He's now at 2. He's at a 3. He's at a 4, and he goes outside and he gets knocked down to a 1 again, because that empathy gap, there's no way for him to connect it. He connects it by going on the playing field on the basketball. So, because why do we put our boys in football? Not because they can learn team sports and working with teams, because it's also because the other men and the boys help you work through all that shit so you can be a better guy at the end. Help you work through that empathy gap. So the Hasidic Jews say, guess what? When that gap starts to come, you go with your daddy. And what did Prince Ella say? I want a whole community of just guys who bring the babies, let us have them and drop them off. And when it's time for them to grow up, they go back with their daddy and be grown if they're boys. Because we can't teach them nothing else. Our empathy keeps going. And this becomes overflowing for them. And then y'all grow up to be anxiety-filled men who can't express themselves, which develop alexithymia. Prince Ella wins again.
I agree.
Yeah, that all boils down to when they talk about the single mother concept, the red pill and the manosphere. That's where that comes from. That's why that boy always ends up in trouble somewhere, because he didn't have that.
That's dope. That's dope.
And even the side note, Terrence, even if the daddies were the half deadbeat dads, to side note that, in that scenario, in all those scenarios where the dad wasn't presently in the home, and the woman says, your son's being managed, come get him. When that dad doesn't come get him, whether he's in the home or not, to help bridge that little gap so he can learn how to push through these feelings, so he won't be such a bandit and won't think he got to snatch a woman out like that dude did and just snatch her out of a party and pull her to the room and rape her on the dance floor. He won't have those thoughts, because the men will be like, no, little nigga, you can't do like that. The woman telling him, honey, you need to always be nice to the woman. In his mind, he was being nice when he said, bitch, get over here. And when he was being nice, when he grabbed her and she said, stop. But he was being nice because in his mind, he's being nice. So that comes from learning from y'all. So that his whole philosophy, this rabbi's philosophy, which he lives by, is that y'all got to go be with y'all daddies at a certain point, because that's where you're going to learn that. So you can come back and be better men.
And that's why that's why women take accountability all the time when they raise a child by themselves, but the men don't want to take accountability because you have to bridge that gap. Yeah, women can do what we can, but we can't raise a son. We can't raise a boy. So you as fathers needs to be in your child's life, because you are the one that can connect with your male child. That's
whether
not
you're in the home or not. So because once that mom brings him up to 2 or 3, confidence, and he has that, now he's probably equal to the little girls, because remember, the little girls are being born with on a value level of 3. We're already born with 3. Y'all born with 0, right? That's what we was talking about. So if your mom, like if you have an MJ who's bringing you up to a 3 in the home, that has to carry out into the world. And like you said, Daryl, these guys get out here, and as a little young man, they're not up for the challenge of that emotional. My mama told me I feel good. It's that little nigga who was defending himself, that's saying, you ain't finna tell me I ain't shit, from the little bully in the playground who took his backpack and he took it back and punched him in the face because he tested what his mama told him. He tested that 3. So now when his daddy comes and takes over, if he does, now he could be a 4 if he don't have a coach, or what's the guy named, Daryl, the dude with the dojo? If he don't have those people.
You remember how Rock taught Kanan how to defend himself after he got his ass beat at the park?
But she shot the
fuck old.
Put a gun to his head.
She put a gun to his head, said, you either gonna deal with them or you're gonna deal with me. Just that simple. And she took him up to the park. Who? Gave him a little brick. Go get busy. Right now, none of us want to raise a Canaan Stark, right?
That little nigga.
But nigga was a bad nigga.
Yeah, I like him.
But at the end of the day, he did have a certain amount of confidence, right? And in certain times, that confidence played a key role in his survival.
Jason Wilson, thank you. Gently, go ahead.
Yeah, Jason Wilson also comes from the streets too. He's a Christian now. Shout out to Jason Wilson. He was praying over the Lions today.
But that's what I'm thinking of when you say the 0 to a 10. Like, look where he came from.
Yeah, he was a gangster.
I think that, you know, there have been women who have been able to hone on certain traits that boys can pick up by being around men, and have been able to do fabulous jobs raising male children as a single parent, as a mom, a single mother. However, I do definitely believe that the influence of good father figures, if not the father, definitely can cultivate a young male child into a grown adult man, and far beyond their wildest dream. Like, I mean, like, luckily, like for example, with my son, he has a very active father. You know, no difference. We're not together or anything, and haven't been together for years, but a heavily active father. Also a heavily active uncle presence, like my brothers and all that stuff like that. And he also have a bigger brother. So he has this strong male environment that he can always lean on, and they can guide him through the blind spots from 0 to 10 that I can't guide him through. Because I have to go through my blind spots as a woman. Remember, us women, we're still developing and growing into our different milestones as time go by. So there's things that I will never understand about a male child. There's things that I will never grasp or understand how they feel when it comes down to when people touching them, when people say things to them, or anything. That I can only sympathize that, hey, I share that I will go through those same type experiences, but there will not ever be identical. The way how I feel when someone touched me as a woman is going to be completely different as what a man feels when he gets touched. So that blind spot needs to be cultivated by men. Men needs to help lead these male children through that blind spot that they can't see, that to let them know, listen, you are not a 0. Yes. You're not a 0. There is that purpose, and I'm gonna show you how to go through it, walk through it, to see that you're not that 0. That is really needed. It's truly, truly, truly needed.
I think so. I agree.
Absolutely.
And not to say I'm not a parent, so I'm just making sure that's clear that I'm never coming for someone in a parent. You guys are doing wonderful, wonderful jobs. I'm here all for it. So, but you know, I recognize it. So I see that some, you know, you can look at little boys and be like, oh, you need your daddy. You need your daddy right now. And that's why the Jews, Mr. Rabbi, they know that. That's why they do that. They know that. And it's just crazy that they live by that. But we don't. But yeah, we'll see.
They absolutely do. And shout out to Renee, our newest member. Yay! And shout out to Kojak. And nobody was here.
You're welcome.
The chat is members only. Bandits. Let's keep going.
Wow, thank you. Hey, thank you for unpacking that the way y'all did.
Oh, no problem.
I got you, Terrence. You know I got you.
You know we love you.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Wow.
Just make sure you do my tagline, late night.
Yo, we love you too.
Yes, thank you.
Period.
Love you
I just need to coin that so I can put it on my page there. I cash that. I need a voiceover.
Need a voice. Oh, Terrence.
Yes. Do you understand? He don't understand. You could be coining up all over this internet
Welcome to
world.
Sim Nation, bum ass niggas.
Thank you. He already got the job for that. I already hired him for that. Too late. He's already employed by Simp Nation. Go ahead.
Don't
That's
even
we do
come
that.
around here asking for no submission, bum ass niggas. You know what
And
time
for
it
you,
is.
and for you bandits.
Hey Mo, is that you, Mo? You gotta show your face, Mo.
Hi, Mo.
Is that Mo?
Hi.
Yeah, but
You
like
Oh
have
it
my
was
God.
like Mo in the shower or something. Oh hey Mo. Oh. Hey Mo.
Hey guys.
Hey, what's going on?
Hey, Mo.
And Tajon,
Hey.
welcome to the chat, Tajon. Or
Hey,
Tajon.
All right, let's hear more.
let's hear more because I love this guy.
Let's keep going.
It's not a
Pure
conscious thought,
intentions.
but it's always there. That's called haunted. Men are haunted by this fear. It's a demon or a monster in their closet. And we spend a lot of time and a lot of energy keeping that closet closed. So it's very common that men will overcompensate to keep that door closed. So the whole macho thing and the whole bravado thing, it's basically to hide the fact that we're not less than you think we are, but that we're actually nothing at all. The funny thing is, no matter how many times women will tell men that they're not nothing, it doesn't make a dent.
Mm-mm.
Did we
Because you
just say
can't
that?
undo
Did
a
we just say that?
created condition.
Yeah. You can't make a dent and you can't dent nothing. You can't damage. Oh my gosh, it's so sad. I'm sorry, guys.
Yeah, I called it.
I'm
They,
sorry,
like I
guys.
said, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how much we
And
speak life into them. It doesn't matter because this is something internal within themselves.
Those are.
I don't agree with this.
We're not going to, honey,
I
but
don't.
that's because you're already a 3. That's because 3s don't agree with the zeros. You wouldn't know what that feels like. You are already a 3. You're already a 3. You're already up there with the 4 as far as, we're born at 3, so you're catching up.
Yeah,
But you're already you're already,
four and five, Terrence. 4 and you and Daryl like on at like level 4 and 5. So
yeah.
y'all can't relate.
Y'all can't
I
relate.
can't say that there's ever been a point where I felt like nothing. But that's also due in part because of my I've grown up always been, oh, you're loved, we love you, moving around from
did that?
family to family.
Who did that?
Right. Honestly, I grew up with primarily women. And men as well, but multiple families, probably like 3 or 4 different families, right? And I can't say that I've ever felt like nothing. Like that sounds so makes you want to give somebody a hug. You know what I mean?
Yes, y'all do need hugs every day. There's the power in the hug. But yes, you're right.
Yeah, hugs will get annoying after a while, but like
so therefore you
the
maybe
thing
your name
is,
on the list.
Terrence, a lot of these bandits feel like nothing every single day.
I'm just giving you a hard time, Genesis.
Okay, yeah. Y'all
A
need
lot of
hugs
these
for real.
bandits feel like nothing every single day. They put it in their rap music. You can literally tell by the shit that they say. You can you can tell by how they move. They don't care about themselves. They feel like absolutely nothing. You know what I'm saying? What Tupac said, they got me trapped. Right? He felt trapped in the fucking ghetto. Like nothing. Like a fucking animal. We can keep going though.
See, that's why men have this thing. We have this obsession, this fascination with anything that goes from 0 to 60
Which is 1 minute.
or 0 to 30,
Mm.
20.
Mm.
As long as it goes from 0 to something, that's
Mhm.
for us.
Mm.
So a boy comes home from school and says, everybody hates me and everybody's picking on me. That's very different than if your daughter comes home and says, nobody loves me.
Oh,
In what way?
didn't I say that already? Didn't I say that to y'all already?
I wonder what he means by this. I wonder what he meant by that. Let's see.
Yeah.
Because when your daughter comes home and says, nobody loves me, she's like wondering how come. When your son comes home and says, nobody loves me, he knows why.
What?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think so. That's
Yeah, I'm not really hearing this.
yeah.
That goes back to that same thing that he's saying, that if you already not that's like I said to y'all earlier, didn't I say that with if she hurts herself or nobody wants to play with her, we handle her differently, because there's an assumption there that and even in the words, when you're encouraging a little girl, when you're encouraging a woman, is get back to, don't you know who you are? Don't you remember who you are? How would I remember something if I wasn't already there? But that's not the same words of encouragement to a little boy.
Like
It's not a don't you remember who you are? Get yourself up from the bootstraps, which is going from 0 to something. Get up off the ground. Get yourself up. Stop crying. You're a boy. You're a little man. You know, they literally go from being whatever they thought they were to this. And since this rabbi is pointing out that they have an intrinsic value of 0. They start from nowhere. That's what they go back
with
to.
all people. But like
No, this is based on what we're talking about in this video, Mo. What he's talking about.
No.
You might have came in late.
Well, no. What I'm saying though is that, in early childhood development, we look towards our parents about who we are, like to figure out who we are. If they tell us we're smart or we're kind, we become those things. Like, you know how the kid that is always being told you're funny, he'll just do anything possible to get a laugh out of you, sort of thing. And so like we develop based off of what we're told we are, and then at a certain age, we try to figure out like who we are sort of on our own. But the whole like when a boy comes home and he's sad or whatever, or like when a girl comes home and she's sad, it's different. But I think that it's just the parenting is different. Maybe I'm understanding this incorrectly, but don't you guys think that like there are some parents that a child could just go to and be like, hey, I'm sad, and they'd be like, okay, let's figure out why. And there are some parents that would just be like, okay, whatever, get over it. You know, like just different parenting styles.
No.
So Gently says for the girl, her self-destruction is to feel something, that void, trying to fill it in. But for the boy, his self-destruction is nuclear. He taking everyone out. Unlike the girl, it's just focused on her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then now we're surprised that the boys are becoming more, what you say, Daryl, more self-destructive. They're deleting themselves more. You know, before they were acting out more. That's indicative of a little boy to act out more.
They are the weapons of their own destruction.
Yeah. So we went from a mass school shooting or from the dude that deleted himself because he didn't get no girlfriends, from that to that. So we went from hurting everybody to hurting just myself. I'm mad at the world and I'm hurting myself. So what this guy is, what the breakdown that the rabbi was giving us is, goes into that. That's why the boys need to be reared and raised at a certain point and get that what we call that emotional transparent, that emotional passage, that rites of passage. That's what that's for, so that they go be with the men to help them walk them through these emotional these steps that they go through that become a man. So when they come back to being around society and women, they can now know how to work through those emotions, what they were missing in the beginning with. You got a lot of so yeah, let's hear what he has to say.
Oh, my bad, Jen. Good job.
and there's nothing he can do about it. The proof that all of this is true, if you need any proof, is not only how sensitive men are to criticism, but how positively men respond to compliments. It's totally disproportionate. You give a man a compliment, you've made his year. Even though it's not much of a compliment.
Well, that's because men need to start complimenting each other.
That's what we just said earlier, that they
Yeah.
have they have a synapse that connects them to each other. But I can tell you right now how many times I have complimented a guy, and I promise you, I've seen the meltdown.
Should change his life.
Oh my gosh, like I wouldn't be telling y'all if I didn't, and I would make a habit out of doing it. I make a practice. I do it intentionally just to see how many guys throughout the day. When I'd be like, hey, hey, sugar, look at you with those new shoes on. Look at you, don't wash your car. And I'm not even realizing that maybe when I sit back and think about it, it's terrible to think about. Maybe I was the only person that complimented him today. And he probably lived with a whole slew of folks or be around a whole lot of people, homie, dapping them up. But ain't nobody never said nothing. I'm the only one that said good jobs at work. I've been told that as a boss. Man, you're the only one to come in here and tell us good job. The fuck is that, man? The guy.
Genesis, you're out here doing the Lord's work, and I mean that. But that's so sweet, and you're so right though about how that could literally have been the one thing that maybe kept him from stepping over the edge. Do you know what I mean? It could have been like the thing that he heard, and it helped him not break apart or whatever. You know what I mean? And you're a very beautiful woman, so to have that on top of it, like that's gotta make him feel really good about himself and make him feel like he's attractive. Like if nothing else, like
that'd be the problem too, honey.
That
But that's just what Gently said. She was like, when we say something like give him a compliment, for some reason, fuck that Kevin Samuel shit, because he was like, y'all don't want to smile. You know how much trouble I get in smiling at y'all niggas? Just having a regular smile? Because smiling translates as something else.
And then they're gonna chase you home.
Yes, I just smiled today. Doesn't mean for you to come and so I get that. Yeah, Gently, like
kind of has sex with you, Bandit.
I'm give them a genuine compliment, and then they just want to fuck.
Hey, Cajun.
But it's sweet that you're gonna continue to do this for guys, even though
No, Mo, let's share the mic and get other people. Then I'm gonna give Cajun and then Nate. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was confused about this whole thing because he was talking about how the girls get acknowledged a little bit different from boys, and it's like, dude, I had a daughter and I got a son, and I have daughters and I had a stepson and a godson. Now I have my own son, and it's gonna be the same damn thing. If my son told my mama nobody like me, I'm gonna say that's a tale. My daughter said, mama nobody like me, I'm gonna say why? Because that's a tale. If not too long ago, because I know I went hard on that pain for my daughter when it came to school situations. My son, I went to go pick my son up from school, and he crying. He said a kid bit him. The teacher acted like she never seen that, so I got pissed. Like, so you ain't paid attention. You don't see my tears on my son. That means he was crying, and you ignore my son.
Somebody got to mute again.
It's not that I ignored him. I didn't know what happened. She says I don't know what happened, so I'll ask all the students. Now she had to ask all the students that if whoever bit my son, as though my son could be making this thing up. Okay, and it took a bunch of kids. Yeah. This kid bit King Zaru. So a few days later, my son gets in trouble. And the way this happened was I come to pick him up from school, and the parent says, my kid's first day here, and I don't want no one bullying my son. And she Hispanic. A majority of the classroom was full of Hispanic kids. And so she says, well, I've already dealt with that immediately. I dealt with it immediately. So my son comes out, as honest as he was. He said, I said, how's your day, son? He says, I got put on timeout. And I said, why'd you get put on timeout? Because I hit a kid. I said, this kid? And he said, yeah. So it wasn't like he wasn't trying to hide nothing, but the fact that she caught that immediately and assessed the situation on him for hitting a kid, and again made my son apologize. You don't hit your friends, right? But when it came to my son's feelings, he's ignored, and we have to find out about it later. We have to find out about it, and I go hard on that paint. I don't know who this dude talking about. I don't know who he is. He don't even look like he's one of us. So I think for him, he was raised a certain type of way in his own kind of tradition, and as a little boy, that's what he experienced. But a lot, especially black mamas, we mama bear when it comes to any of our kids, whether it's a boy or a girl. So I honestly don't. To me, it's occultish what he's doing. To me, it's very occultish. But I'm glad y'all assessing it. Y'all making some assessment on this. You know what I'm saying? You diagnose this dude at the end, because that kind of bothered me as a mom. Like I'm not gonna treat my son no different than his feelings. But as far as his development, he's gonna do 2 times more than what my daughter had to do, because he's gonna grow up to be a man. And I'm not putting up with it. I'm not playing the laziness and none of that stuff. He's going to have to learn to grow up to be completely different from what this dude talking about. You know what I'm saying?
When you say
and he's not gonna
occultic,
be in the Bay Area. He can't be no simp in the Bay. Sorry about that. The simps over here is making every good man look bad, because that's all they do is use women to get what they want. Then it's a whole different ball game. But I'll talk more about that later. Yes. But
question for you,
I'm gonna drop
Tejan.
down. I just want to put my 2 cents.
Yeah, on a
Thank y'all
side
so
note,
much for
I'm
letting me
sorry about what
come up on
happened to your son. Like that, I'm really sorry about that.
Thank you for
It's
sharing that
awful.
with us.
Yeah, because yeah, so I don't know what he's talking about, but yeah, that's what I'm saying. We gonna stand up for any of our kids, whether it's a boy or a girl. We're not gonna treat them different just because they're gender. He's so ignorant. I don't know what he is. Anyway, I'll drop down.
All right, let's get back to the
All
video.
right,
And
take
thank you
care.
so much for joining us.
Just as an
Yes.
example,
It's crazy.
if a wife says to her husband, "Did you change the light bulb? I didn't know you could change a light bulb." Every husband will say, "Oh, stop it. Anybody can change a light bulb." But you've made his day.
Mhm.
He goes off to work feeling like $1,000,000.
Hmm.
But then he tries to return the favor. And the next morning he says to his wife, "You made these eggs?
Mm-mm.
I didn't know you knew how to make eggs." What would your reaction be?
Pissed off. What the hell's wrong with you?
Yeah, she's been making eggs every single day with no thank you. So maybe that's why she
Bandit.
feels that what you're saying is condescending.
Well, he's saying that he had to actually. She was surprised. He was surprised that she
Well,
could do something that he did, and
right,
do
like
it
she
on
was
her
playing
own.
into it. Right.
No, she was surprised. Like a guy can be like, you change your own tire, and he says, "Dang, Mo, you changed your own tire." You're like, "Well, and he's like, "I didn't know you could change your tire." But then you like flowers, and he replants your flowers, and you're like, "Oh, you planted flowers for me, and I didn't know you could do
Oh,
that."
I
Right?
thought
Because he's
I thought
doing
what he was
something
saying.
that she does. Like she changes the light bulb. Like, honey, the light bulb's out. We usually have the guy for that. We usually call the guy. That's a part of that house husband role, that the husband role. Honey, the light bulb's out. Can you change it in the bathroom? But if
So
he didn't have no husband, we change the light bulb ourselves, right? So that's what that
I
conversation
think
was supposed to be.
I must have misheard him, because I thought he said that the woman was saying like, "Wow, you changed the light bulb. I didn't know you could do that," and he would walk around and smile all day. But you're saying
She
that
did something
he
for
was talking to
him.
okay, all right,
She
never
did
mind. I
something
heard
for
wrong.
him. She did that for him to make his day.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I think what he's trying to show is that when we say, "Oh my God, honey, you pulled down the seat today. I didn't have to fall in the toilet
Mm-hmm.
seat." Just for you acknowledge that he did something different, it can
He's
make
like,
his day. He feels good about it.
yeah,
But if you was applied the same thing to a woman, like, "Oh honey, you cooked today," and knowing like maybe this woman have been cooking for years, that
right,
wouldn't be a compliment to us. That would be an insult. Like, what are you trying to say about my cooking today?
right.
Is
Yeah.
you trying to say that it's better, or is it worse?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Right.
No, that would be an insult. you might as well just go ahead and shut it down.
Yeah, tell him to
You
get
know,
breakfast
automatically
somewhere
know
else.
that's out.
I turn everything off right then, whether it's raw or not. That's what you eating
Yeah.
for dinner.
Yeah.
I'm not
Yeah.
about to keep cooking nothing. I'm not going to complete the meal so you can talk shit and afterwards. You're not eating this if I finish cooking it, since you got so much shit to
And then on
say.
top
Just
of
make
that,
eye contact, dump it in the
yeah,
trash.
I'm like,
No, it's gonna sit there right on the plan. You wanna talk shit? Finish cooking it yourself.
I'm like,
Be
and
right
then it
there.
goes back to, yeah, I've been cooking every day, ever since you. I'm like, so you telling me you don't even notice anything? You don't even notice that I cook for you?
Right.
Like,
Right.
that would be an insult. I'm like, I cook your favorite dish all the time, so you telling me that you never notice that I cook? You never notice? I said, and that goes
Right.
back. I'm like, then that goes
Right.
back to the male not paying attention to
What we
that.
said earlier, yes, they don't
Yes.
be paying
And it
attention.
also and it
that's
also goes back to what he says though about the fragile ego of the man. Because the
Mhm.
simple fact that something so simple as just complimenting him on something that he has done, a task, it wasn't really even a compliment. You just acknowledge that lit up his world. And acknowledgement
That
takes him
ego.
from 0 to 10. That's why he lit up. But if you was to apply that same type of metric to a woman who already has value, she knows she's been cooking for you this whole entire time. You mentioning something about her cooking will be deemed as an insult. That is not a compliment to us because we was already doing something. We didn't start from nothing. So it really goes for back to what he started with. He was talking about in the beginning of the conversation.
That's why it's never. That's why it never supports the argument when men and women argue about whose responsibilities are what, and the man says, "Well, I do this, and you cook, and you clean up." What do you? That's not you washing the dishes this one time versus me washing the dishes all the time. Is not a comparison argument since that's my job anyway. That's never a good position to be in the conversation with a woman because she's already doing, especially if she's already doing those things or she's taking care of herself or already doing those things where you don't have a hand in it. That's a horrible position to stand on. You don't have a hand in her. She's already doing it. Well, I made the bed. Well, nigga, I made the bed every day. I made the bed every day. It's not like you get it's not like you get a prize or you get a acknowledgement for just that, but when we acknowledge it, that's never a good pushback for the argument. Yeah, it's never a pushback for a good argument.
So
we
is
do that
this
shit anyway.
Is this why they say that like being a wife and a mother is a thankless job? I think I'm quoting that right. They say like it's a thankless job.
Yeah, it can be. I'm like, it
Yeah.
can be. I'm like, not for all marriages, but you might as well say it can be because these are the tasks that I were already doing. So for you to sit up and say, hey, oh, you wash the clothes today, where I wash the clothes all the time. What are you talking about?
Right. What are you talking about?
Like, what are you talking about?
And I think Genesis, you said you had 2 kids, right?
No, I don't have any kids. That's why I said I can't identify on the actual that part, but
Shoot,
I
I can't
identify on everything
remember.
else.
Wait, MJ, was it you that said you had kids? I can't remember, but
She has a son.
yeah.
She has one son.
Let's get back to the video, Mo.
Well, no, I was just gonna ask, like, as a mom or whatever, is it true, sort of like with you don't get thanks from the kids either? So anyway, I just wanted to find out if like that
Oh,
is.
well, luckily I do have a son who is my honey bunny and he loves me the most and he gives me all the kisses when he's thankful. He's a very thankful dude. So I'm lucky. But yeah, I do understand what some parents say when, you could do stuff for them, pick up their clothes and put in the laundry and stuff like that. They don't even acknowledge that you're even doing anything nice to them because they're used to you just doing things for them.
All right, y'all. I'm jumping down. It was a pleasure talking. Have a good night.
Take
All
care.
right, my brother.
Take care, Terrence.
Oh, shout out to Terrence. Let's get it.
You wouldn't feel like $1 million for the rest of the day. You'd think, my God, what did I marry? You would say to him, you have fever or something? Are you feeling well? And then you won't make him eggs the next day. So why is that? Because turning in a light bulb is better than nothing.
Mm.
Being able to make eggs, that's not a 10. What is the worst thing you can say to a husband? Mm-hmm.
Hey, Mo, welcome back.
Sorry, hit the X button.
If he's turning in the light bulb and you say, it's okay, I can do that.
Aww.
Are men really that egotistical?
I
Yes.
mean, that's kind of
Yes.
true.
Yes, I had
Yep.
the taking out the trash. Daryl, y'all, I've been taking out the trash my whole life. I get a man and I'm supposed to let him take out the trash. But like the Barbie movie, I'm not supposed to nag or ask you more than once to do it. Because in my mind, okay, am I right, ladies? If I've been doing it by myself all this time, I just go do it myself. You want something done, you go do it yourself. So therefore, now this conflict happens where he takes the trash bag out of my hand as I walk out the door. Like, okay, but I asked you to take out the trash. I don't want to nag. Therefore, I cannot say it more than once. But my philosophy is if I ask you more than once, I can do it myself. So how do we? What? He took the trash bag out my hand, told me to sit down, grabbed my other hand and was like, come sit down, relax, smoke a blunt. I got the trash. But it's only when I go do it myself. So therefore, I ask, and he literally hate he would cringe at, never mind, I can do it myself.
My husband
He would cringe.
I'm like, my husband do the same thing.
Serious?
Like that. He'd be like, God damn it. I was
He
like,
would be mad at me doing it myself.
Separating the clothes, and he's like, look, I can wash the clothes too now. Stop. So you don't have to do everything. Every time you look up, you're doing everything. I'm like, if I'm used to doing it.
And they say that too. You're doing too much. You sit down, relax. You're doing everything. Okay.
That's crazy.
Like, oh man, don't do the cooking thing. If I sit up and get up and start getting ready to cook, he'd be like, baby. I'm like, baby.
Mine was barbecue. I can't barbecue. I can barbecue y'all, but I can't barbecue around y'all because I can't light my own grill. I don't know what lighter fluid to buy. I don't know what charcoal to buy. I can't barbecue, even though I can buy the grill, buy the food, season everything.
Well, men are very sensitive. Men are very sensitive when it comes down to the grill. Like that is their thing. That is their cook. That's their cooking culinary. Woman, sit your ass down. I got the grill. I'm gonna put the meat on the grill. You don't touch that. Let the man do that.
Look, the potatoes,
what is with
the
that?
baked beans, and the greens.
But it was the trash too, MJ. I can't take out the trash either. It was like the beat your chest man things I couldn't do. And if I did them, like he said, if I wouldn't even ask, he would come upstairs and see me changing the battery in the smoke detector. Why you ain't ask me? I could do it myself.
Oh my god!
Like I tell you, mofos. Men don't want to cook. Men don't want to cook 364 days out of the year, but that one day on Father's Day, every man is Chef Boy ID. They are Chef Boy I Negro. They want to cook up a storm. Don't touch nothing. This is the main thing, and I swear to God, they all of a sudden they know how to fucking cook, but every other day they burn water. I don't understand that.
Right? Can't boil an egg.
Do they ask you guys to make the things that go with the barbecue food? They make you guys make.
No, they do everything.
Yeah, he wants to do everything because I don't know how to cook. 365 days a year, I know how to cook, but on that day, I don't. And when the battery be beeping, when the smoke detector be beeping, and you just getting on your nerves, and then finally you say, "I'm gonna go change it myself." The very fact that I got up on the ladder and I go to change it, and he says, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm changing the battery." He said, and I could tell him, "Don't worry about it. I got it. I can do it." That part, me saying that to him, when I went and got the trash and said, "Never mind, I got it." Saying that drove that kind of guy crazy. That's what this guy just said. Literally, the very fact that I said, "Never mind, I can do it."
Yeah. I'm like, don't even get started on them.
It don't matter what you do, as long as you say, "Never mind, I can do it."
Just look,
don't worry about it. I can do it.
Get me started on you trying to reach something off the top shelf, and they be like, and they come and reach it for you, and I'm like, I can get it myself.
I can get it. It's an attitude.
I'm
like, gotta get my cereal down with an attitude. You gotta slam the box of cereal because you got an attitude because I can get it myself. Because them exact words right there drive you fucking crazy.
I'm like, I can get it. I can open the jar by myself.
Nope.
Snatch the jar out my hand. Like, you know what?
Do they also like I've seen guys do this like when they go to parties or whatever, they'll like flock to the grill and suddenly every guy is like, "Oh, I'm the best at grilling." And meanwhile there are other things that could be done, but they just kind of huddle around the grill and talk about
Nope, they're gonna stay. Yep, they're gonna stay around that grill mode because everybody is Chef Boy ID. Everybody is Chef Boy Negro at that time. They know all the special sauces. They know how tender the meat needs to be, how juicy it needs to be. Now all of a sudden they know about temperature. They know every freaking thing.
Nobody got a meat something.
And now they suddenly know about temperatures.
They know temperatures at this time, but let it be Christmas or Christmas dinner. They don't know what temperature to put the fucking turkey on, or unless they're men who likes cooking for Thanksgiving. Because I do see more men now wanting to cook for Thanksgiving. They always want to boil that damn turkey. They be like, "Listen, I'm not touching any of the other foods, but give me that damn turkey. I'm gonna fry the turkey wings. I'm gonna boil the turkey wing. We're gonna deep fry the turkey." They want to do that shit. All of a sudden, they feel confident. I got this. I got this meat.
You make it all. We got to make all the sides, but you just want to make the meat.
But that's crazy, y'all. This is the fact that we saying we got it.
We got it.
Boils their blood. Just by you saying MJ, and you know how to do some real shit, MJ. So how do you look going and grab your piece and then Derek, what you gonna say when she? Don't worry, baby, I got it.
Don't grab your gun because I have my gun.
My gun is
like, don't worry, girl. I got it.
You need to make a shirt for your merch or something. But no, like great merch would be like Father's Day, the only time out of the year that a man knows what the temperature is.
I'm dead serious. He knows the temperature of the turkey to the T. He knows the tenderness of all the steaks and all the pork chops and everything that he puts on the grill. But ask him every other day. I don't know how to work the stove. I don't know how to cook that.
What you mean? Boil the potato. I thought you were supposed to put some grease with the eggs.
That's crazy. Just by us telling you we can do it ourselves, that's crazy. Y'all shouldn't be getting. Simply said, you shouldn't be getting so emotional over screwing the light bulb. I get that.
God. I'm sorry.
Dang, y'all.
That's so funny.
I actually agree.
Don't try to fix that chair.
Oh no! I was putting my desk together while I was watching Sharon. You know how many times I done built the desk and bought a desk from IKEA or Walmart and put a desk a bookshelf together, and that nigga and that dude just looked at me. And I'm reading the directions, making sure I'm doing it right. He stole my directions to the side. I got this.
Like,
sir, what?
Niggas.
You wouldn't put my desk together for me, okay?
Okay.
But you should have no extra screws, right? Don't give me no screws at the end of this, because you ain't,
You ain't put it together.
No, I mean I know men who do that. Like literally when it starts to become like a building project to put the IKEA desk or put the IKEA furniture together, all of a sudden the men is like, just let me do it. They don't even want to read the instructions. You be like, nigga, read the instructions. They're like, no, I got this.
Right
I
here.
inherently know how to build shit because I'm a man. And they'll sit there and they'll just do it without the instructions until they lose something. Now all of a sudden, like, yo, what the instruction says? Like, where's B at? I don't know where the B screw is at. Where's the B?
What kind of screw is this?
Then that means we are your competition if it comes down to that. Because I can imagine we both fighting to take out the trash. Because I could do it.
I'm at the point. I got 3 men in my house: my cat, my nephew, and my husband. Look, if I touch the trash, that's my ass. For real.
Oh wow.
If I touch the trash, that's my ass. I can put whatever I want in it, but if I touch it, if I even take it out the trash pan, like What are you
They're
doing?
not having that, right? The boys not having that.
I think when it's like a sixth sense for them. You hear you taking it out the pan. They just wake up out their sleep. It come, lady, what are you doing? Huh? I'm just pulling the trash bag.
See, I can't do all that. That's just crazy to me, thinking that that's just a trigger. I never thought of that being a trigger for that kind of guy.
That
You know,
be manly, child.
what I'm supposed
Be
to say,
surprised what's the trigger for these bandits.
right? You're supposed to say, "Oh my goodness,"
Shut
you're supposed to say, "Daryl, can you come open the jar of peanut butter?" The fuck?
Like a damsel in distress, nigga. No.
You gotta call your son in the room. Can you please come open this box of cookies for mommy? Like, what the fuck?
Can you come pass me my remote? It's right there.
Like, what the fuck? Like, to do the things that we can do for us, but we gotta let y'all make y'all feel masculine, because if we say we can do it ourselves, it's gonna trigger you.
Gotta stroke that ego real
Right.
good.
Oh my gosh, that's a lot of work.
That's exhausting.
It's exhausting.
Stroking niggas' egos for absolutely no fucking reason.
No, absolutely no reason. Just so you don't feel bad right now that I can do this myself.
Absolute fucking bandits. All right, let's get it going. Let's get it popping.
You guys are making me laugh so much. Sorry.
It's like, oh, so you don't need me to turn in the light bulb. And you don't need me, do you? I'm totally useless. And to make matters worse, this has been our predicament for 5,700 years. In the last 70 years, you've made it so much worse because you really don't need us.
No, we need you, Santa.
So
the gifts.
That's why we have the incel population in America.
Yeah, so
they know that we don't really need them.
But that's really sad though, because if that's how really men is feeling out here, yo, like that's trash. Man.
That's trash.
That's hurtful.
But then but then MJ, they don't want us to be the damsel in distress because look at the trend and look at the cycle of life that's happened before us. Those are people who have not been advantaged to see a better life, have only lived with their mama, going through the turmoil of can't rely on this dude. So there's no room for you to be, oh my God, I do declare, who could help me bring me a glass of water? I'm awfully parched. The man can't. There's no man there to do no shit to be like, okay, well now, so then you're gonna pass that down to the next generation. If there's no man to even offset the fucking fact that you can't even ask for those things. You can't be that feminine when there's no masculine there. When there's no party to screw in the light, there's nobody to make the fucking eggs. I'm not making eggs for who? There's nobody there. I got to screw my own light bulb. I got to make my own eggs to feed me because he's not fucking here. So how the fuck, like, you're not needed. Because by the time you meet me, I've already independently, y'all want me, INDEP, you want to enforce that? Well, nigga, I'm taking care of myself to where I don't need you now because all the things I needed you for, I had to man up and learn that shit.
Yeah, it's a catch-22.
It's a fuck, yeah. It's a fuck me and a fuck you.
And also what's strange is men forget that like we've been taking care of ourselves up until we meet them. So like we do know how to do a lot of things.
I always say that. Like, nigga, come on, really. We're like that's for the guys. Like, you walked up to the woman because you liked how she took care of herself.
Right.
And now you want her to stop and depend on you when that's never been the environment that's created.
Right.
You don't even come from that kind of environment, sir.
Yeah. But I think that's why, like, I think that's why a lot of these men are talking about how, like, they want to date, like, 18-year-olds. Like, they want to date very, very young
they want to be
children.
And date the babies.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yeah.
Shut up, Jennifer. Shut up.
Yeah.
But that's how you can see when you're raising a
sorry.
girl. Like, I'm like, you have to really just
They're good.
you really got to coddle the boy, because when you sit that girl somewhere else, she's gonna learn how to do everything on her own, because that's how, that's how we program.
Because you left
So
her alone.
yeah,
You
you left
left
her
her alone
alone.
to go pussy whip this little boy because and his daddy is nowhere to damn be found. If or
Mhm.
if he's a half-ass daddy, if that all that comes, that goes back to the whole origin of the conversation. If all that comes from him, if this man is a Hasidic Jew, right? That means his core principles of life is based on the boys be with the boys at a certain point and the girls be with the girls for a reason.
Mhm.
And what Priscilla say? That's what we need to create, right? Not saying it's supposed to happen, but for the sake of what's happening in front of us, we're watching it evolve in front of us. The words are manifesting into actual life. Because this man leads a life, what Priscilla said we should have been doing, which niggas ain't around to do because they ain't around.
Mhm.
We can't. Who you gonna go get to send the boys off to when you can't find them niggas? And the niggas that we do see, the people that we do see, are not the best options. Which leads us back to the dumb conversation of choosing making the right choice. We can't. Out of what?
Yeah.
Out of
Nothing.
who?
No,
But you already feel like nothing. So you and your nothing ass zero ass friends. We even made it entertainment. What was the song? Cut that zero and get with this hero. Meaning that your lame ass dude that you with ain't shit. Come get with me because I am something. That man who was a 3 saw that nigga that you was with that's a 0, then realized y'all that you were a 0 and said, "Come over here and be with a 3." Because you already a 3 girl. You was born a 3, so come match my 3. That's the stuff that is not happening. We're not choosing based on that. There's no way. But who's showing these people how to do this? How are you supposed to make that happen? I cannot.
Date
I
and
cannot
marry
not
each
hang my
other.
own pictures up. I can't. I gotta hang my own pictures up in my house. I gotta put the own little stuff in my little gas tank if I want my gas my gas miles to be longer, to last longer. Because there is no guy. So offset that for me to even give up that, to have that, that's not there. It's not there.
I couldn't agree more.
I feel bad for you guys.
I don't feel bad for those bandits. Let's keep going. I don't.
Feminism has completely destroyed whatever hope we had left.
Oh God.
So, if men's ultimate sensitivity is nothingness, zeroness, what is a woman's ultimate weakness, vulnerability?
I agree to that.
Yeah.
If a man's ultimate weakness and vulnerability is realizing he's a 0, being a 0, or realizing he's a 0, then what's a woman's? What's the woman's?
Yeah, I didn't hear what he said.
I
Sorry.
thought the woman's was vulnerability, because we are so vulnerable.
No, he said if the man's weakness is him being a 0, then what's the woman's?
I thought it was. I think it's
Being with
vulnerability. Let me go
him?
back on that. Let me go back on
Oh,
that.
okay. Then woman's is vulnerability.
Is nothingness,
Mhm.
zeroness. What is a woman's ultimate weakness, vulnerability?
Oh, vulnerability.
That's what I just said.
Oh,
I said,
wow. Okay, I missed it.
we're always so vulnerable. We could be vulnerable online. We could be vulnerable everywhere we go.
Hello, Tinder swindler.
Or just walking outside at night.
Everybody.
No, I mean,
Yeah.
not even that. It's when we make ourselves vulnerable to people to have access to us, right? Because that relinquishing that wall that you put up to protect yourself, the only way you're going to be able to get close to somebody is to set an environment of you to be vulnerable. So I think that's what he's talking about. That once you become vulnerable, now you take the rest of people coming in who's not there for the best intentions or the right intentions to do right by you. Some is coming to harm you, some is coming to use you, some is coming to manipulate you. So yeah, that's why he would say that would be a weakness, because we see what happens when women are vulnerable to the wrong people. We have results of that.
This shit is fucking with my psyche because you guys want us to be some sense of femininity, which makes us vulnerable.
Mm-hmm.
So
Our
then you want us to
vulnerability
do
is-
that, but then not do that, because if we do that, then that's our weakness.
Exactly. Like it's it's you
The
can't win for
oxymoron.
losing.
It's fucking right. It's fucking my
Yeah,
head,
no,
yo.
you see.
Oh, okay. Let's play a little bit more of it.
If a man was created from dust, his biggest fear is that he will be reduced back to dust.
Hmm.
If you're created from a man, your biggest fear is disappearing into a man.
Oh, hallelujah. Want to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
And I agree
What do
110%.
What do women complain about? They what they self in who? They
They
what
want
they
their
self in who?
autonomy.
They
They
lost
want their
themselves in
autonomy
their
of themselves. They want their identity. They do
You
not
don't
want their identity to be
exactly.
of a man.
You don't want to forever be known as Miss Simp God. No,
Mhm.
you're not MJ and all your accomplishments. Fuck all that accomplishments, MJ. No, you are nothing, honey. You're just simply Miss Old Little Simp God. Yes,
Yeah,
you
that's
are.
why that's why
Bless your
women get
heart.
offended when you sit up and say, "I'm just a wife and a mom." No, I'm more than just a
Oh,
wife.
so we don't want to disappear into y'all. Why don't y'all stop being succubuses and black holes? But y'all can't, because y'all really are succubuses and black holes. Just nothing. Emptinesses.
Gently wants us to acknowledge what she's typing in the chat.
Okay,
I
honey.
honestly believe that women are walking around here being vulnerable most of the time without knowing their vulnerability is what we're putting out into the universe with these males. Yeah, that's yeah.
I agree to that statement. Women, I mean, I feel like just for y'all to even have sex with a man is expressing vulnerability.
Yes.
Vulnerability. Yes.
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 Yeah, that's when you're at your most vulnerable.
Mm-hmm.
That can be argument, yeah.
And that's just such a piss off to let my guard down for you to be a bandit. That's for you, gently.
A top tier fucking at that.
Mm-hmm.
But he's absolutely right. I think that rabbi is so clear because that's what women do. Women hate that everything that's about them, their whole identity, their accolades, everything they work for, is now diminished or become invisible because the only thing people see now is the man that is aligned or associated with her. She is no longer has no identity. And this another reason why some women fear being married, right? Because usually in marriage, what do? You take your husband's name. You don't keep yours.
Yeah, you lose yourself in him and the kids and the family, and now you're the housewife. You're not the MJ. You're the housewife. You're not the MJ at work. You're the his wife. You're the mother.
Yeah,
You're the
you're the
soccer
wife
mom.
of.
You're the
Yeah.
wife of. You're no longer that. You're no longer who all that shit you work for. Why the fuck do we sit in school? Why the hell do we go in training? Why the hell do we do all this stuff just to end up? Hi, I'm Mrs. Johnson.
And you go from being your father's daughter with that last name to
him,
now being
right.
another man's. You
So you
know.
just go from a man to a man.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm like you
And if
become
it's
another man's
done
property.
right,
That's
if
why
it's done right, right? If it's done right,
you become another man's property. That's why women get upset.
no wonder.
Just like back in the day, like we couldn't have our own checking account. You had to marry a man. You couldn't vote. You had to marry a man.
Y'all
like
know that is only
all these things.
Do y'all realize that is like 50 years old? Do y'all realize that's like that's
Yeah,
only
not even that
50
long
years
ago.
old?
This shit just ended.
Damn, but that's crazy. I'm sorry, Daryl. I mean, y'all don't. I'm sorry, but y'all. But damn, I mean, ain't no guys up here. But I'm sorry, guys. That's crazy. There's nothing we can do about that. Nothing y'all can do about that. That's your weakness. It's what breaks you. We don't want you to be zeros, but we don't want to lose ourselves in you either.
Oh, that is perfectly said. Yeah, no notes. Exactly.
Yeah,
Like
that's why it's always pushed, even with married couples, that you have your own independability when in your own social life outside your marriage. It's okay to go hang out with your friends. It's okay to be just you by yourself.
You know what, Nene? Thank you for saying that, because you are the only. Well, you're the resident married person on the panel. At the same time, I'm not gonna say the only one because we don't know.
We don't know yet.
I'm petty, but you know, but you know what I'm saying? Like that's thank you for saying that, because one, y'all married women ain't telling the single women that, but I'm thinking this, guys. Maybe someone's out here listening to this and listening to these panels. Thank God, Daryl, the word is getting spread. Everyone share, like, and subscribing. And people are actually getting, new ears this is falling on new ears. And why aren't we walking into the situations knowing this now? Why aren't we taking this information knowing this now? Why can't I say hi? I already know that you don't really like your mom. She was, I understand. I understand that, no one told you that you're loved and you're handsome and you're worth it. And no, I'm sorry, but can we just not have that part? Can we put a Band-Aid on this and heal this for us and go forward? Because I don't think the same thing. I think you're awesome. And then why can't the guy just be softer and simp out once in a while and stop being so fuck a bitch, eat a bitch, knock a bitch down all the time?
It's their nature.
Can they please
Damn,
go to therapy?
It's their nature to be that type of bandit. And to want to see y'all like, in y'all most submissive form, which is like their most dominant way.
We gotta deal with Jay Prince's making us cry and shit just to make us not cry. Like, no, nobody wants to do that
just
shit.
to make him feel better.
We don't want to cry because of you.
Cry because you can feel better. No.
Right.
And you'll find guys like that everywhere except for where they need to be, which is in therapy. You know what I mean? You find
Let's keep going, guys.
I just eat half a cake.
Whoa. Okay. Yeah, I'm about to join you with the zinger.
Yeah.
Hostess, I love that.
Thinking about M&M's.
Detroit don't fuck around with the hostess. We make that shit here, y'all. Ain't that downtown? There you go.
It definitely is.
I want some better made chips right now. The hot better made hot chips.
Stop playing before I go get my Faygo out the refrigerator.
Damn,
this
man.
Cake
the Faygo's down here don't taste the same. I hate it.
I'm about to turn the camera off on y'all so y'all won't watch me. Bye.
Oh shit, I eat on the camera.
I just ate a 5,000 calorie cake. Oh my god.
You're small. You tiny. You tiny. You can do that. Just don't spike your sugar too far. Don't spike your sugar too far.
Okay, let's continue, y'all. Let's continue so we can get through the video. Because y'all know we got a bad habit of not getting through shit. Come on, let's go.
Yeah, so sorry.
High as shit.
Losing your identity to a man. So the Gemara says that a man should honor his wife more than himself because women are sensitive to injustice. The Gemara doesn't just make idle observations. I mean, who's not sensitive to injustice?
Everybody.
Who wants to be treated unjustly?
Yeah.
What it's saying is this: where men can't tolerate abuse because it makes them feel like nothing, a woman won't tolerate abuse because she can't take injustice. If a woman is not treated the way she thinks she deserves,
that is so true. And I'm telling y'all, that is so true. And I'm telling y'all from actually living right through it. I've only been here for a few months, and this is really real for me because yes, that is partly what goes through your mind if you have been in that position where a man physically is responding to you on the basis of an adjustment of being just having not having a fair assessment. So it's like you just hit me because you didn't like that I rolled my eyes. That's not fair. That's not fair, right? That's usually that's usually the statement that happens. It was like there's usually that's usually the conversation. Well, why did you do this? You did this because I said this. You did this because I wasn't here. I did this. That's all. That's what the injustice is. It's not fair. You don't react that way because of this small infraction. So I understand that. That's
I thought he was. Yeah. So I thought he was saying that like men. Okay. Yeah. I didn't get. Never mind. I was wrong. I didn't understand.
Yeah. He's literally. Go ahead, Mo.
No, I thought he was saying that like women only care about like like to get justice or something, and men don't care about inflicting injustices or something to that effect. And so
He was so I'm
messed it up.
gonna just step in just a little bit more, because what the rabbi was saying was is that, and this is why whenever you get a chance, rewind back to the beginning so you can really see how he started this conversation, right? But when he's going on the reference of men literally coming from nothing and they're starting from zero, and they have this the subconscious of feeling of zero or not being nothing deep within themselves, and this is the reason why they move the way that they move, where they're always looking for a purpose, and this is why their egos are so fragile, and they become very offensive by criticism and stuff like that, because you saying something to them is bringing them back to the level of zero, bringing them back to the level of notothingness. So when he was just stating, so when he was just stating, he was just stating that when a man is dealing with some type of injustice, it's not about oh, it's not fair. It's about, you're lowering me to zero. So now he's thinking in survival mode, and this is why he reacts in a very aggressive way. Whereas when women were already starting at a level of value, all we can see is the unfairness to what is happening to us of having value.
And that's why because I came in when you guys were talking about the 3 and the 0, and like,
well, I gave it that value, so that was my making it up. So that was just me assessing it so that we can understand.
No, but that was a really I really appreciated you putting it that way, because it made everything make sense. Anyway, thank you.
Okay. So that's basically like a guy getting in a fight with another guy in public. He's fighting for justice. Like, he's fighting to be right. He's like, no, this nigga stepped on my Air Force Ones. Fuck that. He gotta pay. But when he's fighting, when he's literally with a woman, now it's down to that's not fair for her. What's happening in front of her is literally not shouldn't be as the imbalanced result of whatever happened. His reaction is imbalanced. It's unjustified. It's very much unfair. Very much unfair.
Right. Because so like for him, it's for the men, he's fighting for his life. He's in literally survival mode. You're trying to beat me down to zero. You're trying to beat me down back to nothing. And now I have to fight to prove that I'm not nothing. Versus a woman already know intricately that she is something. She is of value. So her approach to injustice is the unfairness to her already having value.
Thank you so much for okay. It makes a lot more sense. Thank you guys. Sorry.
You're good, Mo. You're good.
Deserves to be treated. She can't stand it. The injustice of it. Not the threat. She's not threatened. She's outraged. This is why women can be abused so easily and so regularly. An abused wife can stay in the abusive marriage for 50 years because all she needs to do is find justification.
What'd I say?
As long as it's justified, then it's okay.
Why are you doing this to me? Why are you doing this to me? You know?
That's so, God, that's so dark. That is so sad.
Yeah, that's some crazy shit. But and we see it happen all the time where people stay in relationships that's not conducive to their own health. It's
and they'll still blame themselves. It's
at first you do until you figure out that what you're looking for that you realize it's unfair enough. It's too much. There's more unfairness. There's no justification. I'm just telling you, from being 6 months free of that shit. There's nothing. At first you do. You're like you look. The justification is you. You're just like, oh, I must have done something. But then after that, it's the why are you doing this? Why are you looking for the why? You're trying to get him to make sense of this, even though you're still getting knocked upside the head and pushed down the stairs. But it's like, why would you do that to me? Because I didn't want to put lotion on your back because I'm tired. My hands hurt. Why would you do that to me? Because I'm tired. I don't want to cook. I ate before I came home from work. Why did I eat before I come home from work? Then it starts to get that. So that's when it's the you can't. That's why he could say you can be married to someone for 50 years because you're always looking for why. Why did you do that? Why did you do that to me?
So
it's just not fair.
How long were you in the relationship before the like the bad stuff started, or was it always kind of there?
That's a conversation that you can
For
meet
not-
me on my show for, because I'm going to
Re-
talk about
you
it.
wouldn't
Not
mind?
to shameless plug, but
No.
I am. But
Thank you.
yeah. I don't want to derail this, but that is something that I'm going to talk about over there. So
I'm actually about to end the show now, Mo. And Jen, I don't know if you're going live because I'm keeping this at 3 hours. But are you going live, Jen?
yeah, I'll go back. I told him I'll come back after I said I'll come
Okay.
back after I hung out here for a second.
All right. Me and MJ are out of here. Jen, tell them what you're going live about and promote your show.
Well, right now, since me, Mo, if you want to come over there, we'll talk about it. But we're talking about horoscope versus astrology versus zodiac. Like, what does all that shit mean? And we had an interesting topic about that. Are you your zodiac because you know you are, or are you your zodiac because you already were that? Are you Aries because you're Aries, or were you someone told you you're Aries and it's matching up to that now? See ya.
All right. Okay. All right. We'll see you guys there. We'll make sure, because I'm going to do the outro is 4 minutes. That give Jen some time to go ahead and set up her show. And mods, make sure you guys drop Jen channel. If you guys don't have it, I'll go get it right now real quick before I even.
Thank you, Sim Nation, for tonight and tuning in with us. Please hit the like button, subscribe, comment. Let us know if you like this commentary. We will be picking up, finishing the rabbi and his stream. But yeah, I think we had a very good conversation today. Very deep thoughts and understanding. And I hope y'all enjoy the rest of your evening.
And we'll see you ladies and guys over at Genesis. I did spam the chat with her channel. So I want to see all 30 of you guys, or 40, 50 of you guys, 100 of you guys over there tonight. All right. I'll see you guys later. Let's do the outro now.
Hey. 2:30, baby, won't you meet me by the beam? Too early, baby, later you could show me things. You know what it is whenever I visit Windy City. No, 30 degrees, way to go, so hold me tight. Will I see you at the show tonight? Will I see you at the show tonight? Hey. Truck to the plane, to the truck to the hotel lobby. Me, I go through underground garages, presidential suite on deposit, elevator up to the room, shower up and then we hit the club. Touchdown, gotta see what's up. Area code in my phone. What numbers do I still have? Who do I know from the past? Hit one, she say she got a man. Hit another one, it goes green. Must have changed foes on the team. Remember when you let me in between? That was 2017. All good, chug a look around, find one to see my type. Damn, my dog, and he know what I like. He done found me plenty in my life. Problem is I meet a girl tonight, then I go and treat her too nice. Galleria credit card swipes, I don't even know if she a wife. But I do know one thing, no. Women, they come, they go. Saturday through Sunday, Monday through Sunday, yo. Baby, I'll love you one day. Maybe we'll someday grow. Till then, I sit my drunk ass on that runway, on this one way.
2:30, baby, won't you meet me by the beam? Too early, maybe later, you could show me things. You know what it is whenever I visit. Windy City, she blowing me kisses, no. 30 degrees, way too cold, so hold me tight. Will I see you at the show tonight? Will I see you at the show tonight?